All right, so the next movement we're going to talk about is the hip hinge. Hip hinge is a crucial component in order to properly squat and maintain good squat form. Oftentimes people don't know how to access the hips and move through the hips without compromising that low back and getting some knee pain. So hip hinging is the first step where I go to teach my patients how to perform a proper squat. So all you'll need for this movement is some type of pole. So if you have a dowel, that works. If you have a broom, a Swiffer, a mop, that works. We're just going to be placing this along the spine and the low back area to maintain a nice neutral spine throughout this movement. We don't want to be rounding or arching the back. This movement's going to really focus on the hips and moving through them. So we'll go ahead and get in that position. What I want you to do is have one hand up here, one hand just nice and caressing that low back. And what we're doing here is we're getting our feet about shoulder width apart or in the position of our legs to be in a nice comfortable squat form. We're not going to go into the squat quite yet, but what I want you to focus on is the hip hinge. So that movement looks like this. You'll notice when I go through this range of motion, there's a little bit of a light bend in my knees, but I'm not squatting down to get to that hip hinge, right? So I'm pretending like there's an arrow shooting through my pelvis to translate it backwards. A good cue I like to give people is act like there's a door behind you that you're trying to shut with your bum, right? So I get in this position, light bend in the knees, and I act like I'm shutting the door with my bum. I don't want to be hunched too far forward because then I'm going to sacrifice that low back. So I want to go ahead, hip hinge, act like I'm closing the door with my bum. From here, we're going to progress into a squat, but for now, I want you to just work on moving through those hips to perform a hip hinge. Like I said before, a lot of people don't know how to move the hips without moving the spine and the knees. So what I want you to focus on here is we're just moving through those hips.